Okay, got it.
So
did you guys see the Tucker Carlson interviews?
oh my God, you talking about the
Presidential
Mike Pence one?
Oh my gosh. I
What?
saw that
No.
unedited version of that where they didn't cut it off. And
Yeah.
I don't think he completely intended for it to be the way that it's being taken. I
No.
genuinely don't think he meant it. I think what he meant was in the context of what he's talking about, as far as getting the guns to, because what he was saying was one thing doesn't have to be, they're not mutually exclusive.
But
We
still,
can
when it comes
do
to
this and still do this.
sure, but
The optics on that were shit, dude.
Exactly. When you're in politics, he literally walked right into the spider web and just, I mean, did the fucking ninja dance.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and I think it was terrible. I think it was terrible, and I think it just ended his run. To be quite honest,
Well,
but what I'm saying
that
is that the
good
image that's being pushed on the internet, where when he says it's not my problem, and they just stop the rest of the transmission, it's a little disingenuous. Right. You know what I mean?
Not as concerned, yeah. And you're right. I mean, if you play the whole thing, there is a little out of context element to that. And you're right. But leading up into it, he's not a good candidate to begin with.
Oh no, I mean, terrible. I totally disagree with him. And I think he's an establishment person.
I think we lost Bugs. Come on, Bugs. Get that Airbnb back up.
This is why we can't have nice shit.
I know, Bugs. I mean, you go on an Airbnb, run up to New York, and what the hell? Get your video feed back up. I mean, you may not be pretty, but he'll be so.
Booger died. Booger died.
Light a candle. Everybody light a candle in his absence. You know.
Are you still in here? Boog.
I heard a squeak.
Booger.
Oh, good Lord.
I'm not getting anything.
I heard something. There it is.
I'm back.
He's risen.
All right, listen to me. I need you to find a place and sit down. Your ability to comply with this is going to dictate how well you chew food for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I already broke my jaw. I don't need to do that again.
Right? Light some incense, get a Ouija board, pray to Allah, whatever you have to do.
Tone down the ADHD for about 50 more minutes, buddy.
Well, man, I'm trying to sit outside where it was nice since I'm on vacation.
Well, you know what? We got work to hash out.
I'm fixing to be on vacation.
We already spent our one in the can.
For about 90 days, and then they're going to come get my shit. This industry's been hit so hard.
By who?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, it's just a war on fossil fuels completely.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a terrible, terrible, terrible time right now. There's just and you know, people, it's funny because people are so callous. You know, they literally said, you know, well, all those people can just find another job.
Did
you know what I mean? And it's just like, I don't know, man. It's like this entire country's lost its compassion, its empathy. There's just no more empathy anymore. And I said that on Twitter the other day when I was dealing with some people. And don't get me wrong, I make a lot of jokes and things, but I mean, when you've got a video that's being posted of someone suffering serious pain, injury, death, whatever, and then you see that video and you say something like, well, it's their own damn fault because she dated a black guy, or it's their own damn fault because they're a Democrat, you know what I mean, or some shit like that. When I saw a post the other day of this white chick that was dating a black dude, and not that should have anything to do with the narrative, but it bears into the story in a few moments. But the chick was just beat to shit. I mean, oh my God, it was bad. Like her jaw was crushed. Her face bones were just crushed. You know, she had a depression where her face was sloughing. I mean, the damage was so severe.
I saw that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so I'm looking at the comments, and people are like, "Well, that's what she gets for dating a nigger," and I'm like, "That's really
I know, right?
like what happened to this country, man?
All right.
Where did the
It's not
empathy
about that
go? I mean,
person's
even if you don't
race.
like black people, I don't care, but that just, man, how do you? I just don't get it, man. I don't get it. We don't
Yeah.
give anybody any room to be a human anymore.
No, no. And did you actually see Tucker, or not Tucker, Steven Crowder's interview with that guy regarding energy and talking about the difference between heat versus cold related deaths throughout the world?
No.
There is literally a disparity of, they were talking about, well, there's people dying from heat related deaths. And yes, there is.
Oh yeah, I did see that. You're right.
But there are literally 10 times, even in India, there's literally 10 times the number of deaths related to cold than there are from the heat. Now think about
Yeah,
that.
it's all a sham. It's all a sham. The entire thing, in my opinion, the entire thing was an effort to steer us away from fossil fuels because they had invested in all this tech. If you go back to the early 90s, they had electric vehicles. Look at that. They had a documentary out called Who Killed the Electric Car? Did you ever see that one?
Yeah, I heard about it.
It
I
was
didn't get to watch it.
so successful that they actually shit canned the program, repossessed all the cars, and put them in a junkyard. I mean, there's just so much shit out there, and it's like I'm not saying that temperatures aren't hotter, but next week they're going to be colder. You know what I mean? It's all cyclical, and
It is.
it's just I just don't want to be on this planet anymore, man. I'm just
Well, you got to also look at, where are they taking these readings? Because they're doing them, like, oh, these major cities have gotten hotter. Well, you've just kept building and building, and you've got all this concrete and asphalt.
yeah,
So,
exactly. And all these reflective buildings and glass. I'm like, what the fuck do you
right,
expect?
Oh,
and
well,
bumfuck Montana has the temperature changed that drastically, you know.
Well, this is the funny thing. When they do these readings, right? Okay, they're doing them in urban areas. Now, I want you to think about this for just 1 second, Mike. And this even leads into another conversation where this ass clown, this comedian, was talking about he debunked every gun control myth, and he was talking about the difference in fighting warfare, and he was talking about the difference in Vietnam and how that was all in the jungle, and there's a difference between fighting in the jungle and fighting in a strip mall. And I'm like, hey, asshole, even if we fought in America, how much of America do you think is a fucking strip mall? Because I can tell you, most of America is not an urban fucking stretch, okay? It's vastly unpopulated. As a matter of fact, me and Buzz were talking about this, and you can fit all of the population of the entire planet on what looks pretty much like a postage stamp on the UK.
Yeah.
Front to back, nut to butt, shoulder to shoulder, everybody on the planet, a postage stamp on the fucking UK.
That's why I don't disbelieve Bigfoot.
I mean, there's an argument to be made there. So, I mean, the thing is, when you hear about overpopulation and resources, and like you were talking about, like the diamonds, that's being controlled because it creates false demands. I mean, all these arguments are valid. They want you to talk about rare earth materials and all this stuff because it generates demand. It generates the expense. It makes it so they can drive up costs and all this artificial bullshit. And then, of course, it makes the investors and stocks go up and all this other shit. So it's like, yeah, if they want to make electric vehicles, I got nothing against that. What I do have something against is government, investment, taking my tax money for it and then doing a mandate where I've got to come off of my fucking V8. No, go fuck yourself. Yeah. I'm driving cross country. I don't want to stop every fucking 8 hours and sit around for 2 hours just to wait for a recharge.
Well, never mind the fact that not everybody has access to a charging point. But our infrastructure could not withstand
that's what we
it
talked
whatsoever.
about in the other episode. I wish I could remember the actual numbers, but regardless of what the numbers are, we are. If everybody in the country bought a car, they wouldn't be able to charge it. There's not
the
enough
grid would go
power
down.
available. We don't have enough. It'll take 50 years to get enough power.
Yeah, and the
The
grid would
thing
just
that
crash.
really, the thing that really should concern people is our power grid going down.
Mm-hmm.
Because they did the nuclear study commission. I can't remember the name of the organization right now, but they did a study that measured and didn't measure, but did basically what would happen.
Right,
And
a computer model.
Yeah, they said if our power went out for 6 to 9 months, like in EMP, if our electricity in this nation, we would lose 90% of the population. Over 300 million people would perish within 6 to 9 months.
Mostly during the winter.
Yeah, well, I mean, you think about it. The power goes out today, right? There's a couple of places that would have generators, hospitals, and things of that nature. But how much fuel do they have on hand? How much fuel do they have on hand? A few days? You're not going to get any more fuel because when the trucks run out of fuel, they can't refuel them. There's no electricity now. So transportation is going to come to a grinding halt. There's not going to be any goods delivered. There's not going to be any food delivered. No food's going to be getting out of the fields. No food's going to be getting anywhere. What's there is it. When it runs out, that's the end of it.
How long means harvesting can take place?
How long before people turn? Most people don't have food storages.
No.
Oh, they're getting
some people do. Some people are smart and thought ahead. Some people got ammunition and weapons and body armor and food and all kinds of shit. I don't know any of those people, but some people do. Don't come to my fucking house. I'll shoot you. Maybe not bugs. Because he kind of brings. He could help me with my gardening.
It's funny. Somebody made a comment on Facebook. He said, just so you know, we're friends, but if shit hits the fan, I've got a list. And and I said, oh, that's cool. As a shooter medic, I've got a list too. I know where all the good compounds are, and I know my value. When food runs low, I take massages too.
That's the thing, man. That's the thing. Like people like us, dude. Do you know how many people have offered me, like, come to my if shit were to kick off, man, I want you to come here. You know what I mean? Like, I've got a golden ticket, dude. I know how to shoot and medic.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just became your new king.
right.
No, but man, it's just crazy. This whole
I missed
the
whole Tucker thing, but I saw, social media blowing up over it.
Oh, yeah, and again, as I said, Pence went on to try and salvage. You can look at it one of two ways. I think you can look at it as he continued that. Maybe let's call it a momentary lapse of judgment in his word choice. I don't think he meant that I don't care about this country. You know what I mean? I don't think he meant that. I think he was trying to make a point and he fucked it up pretty bad. And it came across as I don't care about this country to a lot of people.
That was the thing. He said, that's not my concern.
That's not my concern.
That was a huge misstep because one, it's a great soundbite to be used against
and that's what it is now. It's 100%.
Perception is reality.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, now it's internet infamy.
That goes back to what you and I were saying the other day when we were talking, and I said, we've gotten into a culture now where you can't trust anything. That's what I said in our group chat. You know what I mean? Like, you guys sit here and extol me and tell me I'm wrong because I don't believe what the media's narrative is. But then you turn around and tell me how much better than me you are because you do believe the media's narrative.
Right.
When I can point to, man, I don't know how many fucking different things I could point to where you, what do you mean you trust them? Now you trust them? What are you talking about?
It was complete cherry picking bullshit. And look, we all kind of do it to an extent, and I get it. the thing is, it's like having the grace to allow for wiggle room. And the thing is, it's being negated or it gets looked down upon. And I'm like, look, man, how many times have we been downrange watching the fucking news about something we're actually sitting in the middle of, and we're like, that's not true. That's
Yeah.
bullshit.
Well, look how many people would go, my son's going to Kuwait. Oh my God, I'm so worried about him.
Why?
What?
Well,
You know?
well, he's gonna have ice cream and fucking steaks for
Yeah. I
Thursday
mean,
night.
you know what I mean? But like that was, y'all know how it is. I mean, how many people back here are like, man, that must have been hard. Like, oh my God, I don't know how y'all did it, man. Because, you know, they think it's saving, they think it's just every day's, you know, the opening credits to Saving Private Ryan. You know what I mean? Like, that's what they think it is every single day. And yeah, maybe some of it was kind of that way, but the most part, I remember drinking excessively, you know.
Excessive boredom, excessive
And working out a
partying,
lot.
you know,
You know, there's
and
periods of
lack
boredom,
of sleep, and then just bursts of, oh shit.
chaos,
Yeah.
fucking chaos. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, it's kind of funny because, I mean, you know, the thing is, we understand the stats. Like, you know, I would tell people, I'm like, look, yeah, sure, you know, every once in a while, you know, there was a rocket, you know, so yeah, sometimes there were IEDs, you know, if you're truly unlucky and they just happen to be set up just at, you know, where you happen to be rolling and got an ambush cooked off. I mean, yeah, maybe there was that. You know, that was the rarity. You know,
Or you could get on the mail contract and see all of it. Yeah.
In one run.
Yeah, every fucking day.
yeah,
I still think Glenn was trying to kill me.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe I owed him some money.
I can call him up. I think I still got his number.
I'm sure I do too somewhere.
I think he still lives up in Reno somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
He was a
But,
salty old bastard.
Oh yeah, he was.
Did you ever meet never mind.
I met a lot of dudes, but at any rate, I mean, it'd
I
be
can't
funny
think of who I'm
because,
talking about.
but the point was the statistics were about as equal as to driving down any major highway in California and getting into a catastrophic wreck.
Well,
You know?
statistically, you were safer in Iraq than you were in Detroit.
Yeah, but
If I
that's
remember,
why.
or maybe Chicago on a weekend. There was something like that where we looked at the number of people and the number of shootings, and we ran those numbers that way.
Now, but was that based off of profession or just number of bodies in Iraq?
So number of bodies, the number of, even if you just took the American, you know what I mean? Like if you just took if you just took the population of Americans and just cross-reference casualties based on that population, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
And you took that same thing and transposed it and superimposed it rather over the top of Chicago. At one point, I don't know if it still is that way, but at one point, we ran the numbers, and it wasn't like we were trying to go, well, how many of this and how many of that. I mean, it was trying to get it, you know, pretty close, but there was just so many shootings, you know, over the weekend. Sometimes they get 50, 60 damn shootings, you know what I mean?
I got a buddy that he's a lieutenant there in Chicago, and he was like, man, I hear more gunfire here than I ever did in Iraq.
Yeah. And that's the point. I mean, it was just like, I mean, granted, you know, we are talking about like, you know, gang violence and all that shit, and we're not in gangs, but the point is, you know, look, you know, there's danger everywhere in the world, you know, and if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, you know, shit happens. I mean, look, I'm not going to sit in a fucking corner, put a sheet over my head and call that living, you know.
Nah.
You probably wouldn't want to do that in your house, especially.
I mean, definitely not set fire to the crosses.
Get it, Bug? You said put a sheet over your head. Come on.
So it took me a second, but yeah, I got it.
You know, I think part of the problem is that we've become so disconnected. You know, with the onset of the internet and social media and all these other forums and these medias, I think we've lost perspective on what it means to have interpersonal relationships to some extent, and we don't communicate the way we used to. We just don't interact the way that we used to. And now there's this gulf that separates most people from their aggressor, and it's called the internet. You know what I mean? And now we've gone into this generation where one generation was taught, okay, well, maybe I can be a little aggressive. And the next one kind of went even further. And so now we've got all these people sitting at home talking all this trash and doing all these stupid things with no concept of what real life even looks like. Right. They're giving commentary on what it means to be in Africa, and they've never seen an African.
Oh, yeah.
They're giving commentary on war, and they've never seen war. They have no idea what it looks like. You can read a book all you want to, but until you get boots on ground, you're not going to have a full understanding of it. You know, being an academic's one thing, but being on the ground and feeling the heat, that's a whole nother thing altogether. And, you know, it just kills me because this nation is getting so much worse. It's just exponential because I think we've moved away from this idea that there are repercussions. Yeah. Look at these kids in these courtrooms and stuff that are flipping off the judges and screaming and laughing like there's no consequences.
Well, did you see that video of that dipshit that was taunting Mike Tyson on a plane?
Yeah.
Oh my Lord. Yeah. He got what was coming to him.
Even I would never fucking dream of saying something stupid to Mike Tyson on a plane. I'm like, whoa, there's no place to run.
Dude. Don't poke the bear. What's the fucking rule? Don't poke the bear.
Right.
Like that fucking guy this weekend at the damn store, dude. I about lost. Like a fucking shit collector with amnesia.
Yeah.
So he's just this horrible, aggressive, just cursing and screaming when it was his own fault.
Right.
And then, like I said, I thought, well, perhaps he would want to say this in person. You know, we remove the vehicles from between us. Maybe I could understand his point a little better. So I left my vehicle and went back there to have a conversation with him. And I guess at that point he decided he had a real quick thing he had to get to because he got the fuck out of there. But
you know, it's exactly like that meme where, you know, you're 20 years old and you watch the movie Falling Down and you're going, man, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? And then now you're 51 years old and you go, oh, I get this movie now.
Oh yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely.
I just man, it just needs to be some goddamn repercussions. It needs to be some people. You know what I mean?
A few motherfuckers need to get right
in the mouth. Some people need smacked in the fucking mouth.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you know, a few DAs and judges need to just look the other way when it happens. You know, just like, you know what? I didn't see nothing.
And what's funny to me is that these young kids are like, what are you going to do? I'll call the law. I'll call the law. Call the police. We had that conversation. I don't want to get into it, but we had that same thing happen not too long ago where somebody literally said that, well, you can't do anything to me. I'll call the police. And it's like, there's a group of animals out there that just don't care if you call the police. You know what I mean? Like, that's really not a deterrent.
No.
Literally,
especially,
I came back
especially with response times.
Yeah. No, so no shit, Bugs. I got back from Afghanistan here in Vegas. I want to say it was like 2013. Got off the plane and I'm trying to load my shit in the back of our SUV. My girls were little itty bitties. And my wife had popped the automatic, you know, hatch, and I'm getting ready to load my shit in the back. And this dude pulls up 6 inches off my bumper. And I just look at him. I'm like, hey, back, you know, I'm just kind of looking at him like, back up. And he just looks at me, gets out, and he's like, you know, fuck you. I'm like, hey, back your shit up, dude. And he's like, fuck you. Dude, I fucking mud stomped the front of his grill. I'm like, back this motherfucker up now. And He's like, I'll call the police. And I look at my watch and I'm like, cool, we got 10 minutes. He's like, for what? And I said, well, we got about 10 minutes before I start whooping your ass, fuck you up so bad, they call the ambulance and then call the police. And then that gives me about 8 minutes and 58 seconds before they'll arrive. So I'll sit here with your body until they get here. You good with that? He's like, I'm serious. I'm like, so am I.
Yeah.
You good with that? So now either you move your shit or I get to work.
Here's
He
the
gets in
thing.
his car.
Here's the thing. I know there's a social order, and I know that we all have to respect those laws and that order. But if you don't have any respect for me, I ain't gonna have none for you. There's a social order that says that if you treat me with respect, I'll treat you with respect. But if you come up to me and spit on me, I'm going to stomp your fucking guts out.
Mm-hmm.
And at that moment, and you know what I'm saying, we're not psychopaths. I'm a high functioning sociopath. But at that moment, when that happens, there is no rational thought in my head. There is no telling me, you know what? Probably shouldn't hit this guy. I'm not standing there going, yeah, well, I'm going to get in trouble, but then, you know, it's going to feel really nice. Like, there's none of that. There's no cognitive thought whatsoever. The moment you infuriate me, that hand is going to come out. You know, it's just like, I don't know, man. It's just like they think that everybody operates the way that they do.
Yeah.
And that's you know, that's kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier, is that there's no empathy. There's no room to be anything.
It's like the shopping cart theory.
Mm.
You know,
yeah.
You can't self-govern if you can't even return your shopping cart. You know,
no.
It's
simple.
that and the broken window theory. You know, they kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Tell me that one.
What? Go ahead.
What's that?
Tell me the broken window.
So the broken window theory is like if you have a neighborhood and you know a window gets broken out and it doesn't get fixed, that it basically kind of leads to the deterioration because there's just that lack of pride. And so then, you know, somebody walks by, they see a broken window, oh, this place is shit, so they throw the candy wrapper on the ground. Um, it's a lot more detailed than that, but if you Google just the broken window theory, so it kind of goes into that. You know, you have less crime in areas where people take more pride in, you know, the appearance of their buildings, of their city, the sidewalks, you know, and things of that nature. So
yeah, Rudy Giuliani really championed that one for New York City, right?
yeah, and that was, you know, a big thing there because, you know, they're in the 80s, even though a lot of that was, you know, kind of media hype. But I mean, New York had a pretty bad deal going on.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, and they went through and really cleaned that up. You know, his big thing was taking on the mob, but I don't know that he really did shit with them. Other than just
Right,
make a
but he
name for
did
himself.
clean up that area of New York, and it did become quite the tourist attraction until now. I mean, oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
It
Well, that's what happens when you get soft on crime.
I think there's a fine line between soft on crime and being too hard. You know what I mean? Being just
well, look at it this way though. You know, when you're soft on crime, like you said, there's no repercussions. Think about your day-to-day life. You know, how many times have you heard somebody say, "Man, when I get out of the military, I'm going to smoke weed," or "Man, when weed becomes legalized, I'm going to smoke it." Things like that. So when all of a sudden it becomes lenient, you know that there's really no repercussions, you start going down that road type thing, you know, because you're like, well, fuck it, I'm not going to get in trouble if I go and do this. And then it's just, you know, like I said, it's just a downward spiral from there.
yeah, that wasn't what I meant. I was just talking about how, like, there's so much subjectivity, you know,
In the law
in
itself.
the variance and the threshold, if you will, of the application of those laws, where,
Well,
you know, you've got some people that are doing life in prison for marijuana, and, you know, somebody murders a child and gets out on parole. Or, you know what I mean? Like,
let's go back to what a crime is. A crime is when you victimize another one person, not a system. See, using marijuana just in and of itself is you're going against a system. Whereas using marijuana, getting in a car and destroying a family is you victimize a person. That's a crime. Using marijuana just in and of itself is not a crime. You just went up against a system. See, that's the difference. People forgot what a crime is supposed to be. So being a criminal is when you victimize people, okay? But breaking the law, going against some abject or
arbitrary law, yeah.
Arbitrary law just for the sake of it being a law, because you're almost trying to do pre-crime in a way. Like, well, if he uses marijuana, he might do this. Well, that's bullshit. Okay.
Well, all it is the government mandated institutionalization of people, you know,
right,
to reinforce the pharmaceutical industry stance and grappling hold on the world. I mean, there's no reason logically, and I'm not an advocate for marijuana one way or the other. I don't care, but my point is, rationally, as a human being with a brain, why is it okay for me to go to the doctor and get a handful of pain pills?
Right.
But I can't smoke a joint. Or I can go to the liquor store and buy a half a gallon of alcohol, but I can't smoke.
Exactly.
I just don't know. So, when the fuck have you ever?
Right.
I'll pay somebody if you can find me one instance of anybody in a bar, a bouncer in a bar, having to break up a fight between two potheads. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't fucking happen, man. You just
typically not unless they're mixing it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
So we've accepted alcohol, and we know you're a medic, I'm a medic. We know it's a poison.
Right.
You know, the things that it does to your body is just terrible.
So circling back, the thing is, we got thousands.
Slow down.
We got thousands and thousands of pages that govern us as individuals. Like, literally, I cannot navigate a day-to-day life without an attorney guiding me and preventing me from potentially breaking the law that even the police don't know I could be breaking, because there are just so many that go without being even enforced anymore because they've fallen by the wayside. However, we have one fucking document that's supposed to govern our government, and they can't even follow it anymore. We had to have the fucking Supreme Court, or I'm sorry, not the Supreme Court, but we had to have a justice get in the way of the fucking Biden administration to stop him from basically working with social media companies to go against the people for the First Amendment. I mean, are you fucking kidding me? Like, get the fuck out of our First Amendment rights, dude.
There's no repercussions anymore. We all know nothing's going to come of this. Just like nothing came of the Hillary Clinton shit. Just like nothing comes from any of it. And the reason nothing comes from any of it is because they're all fucking complicit.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, when we talk about
alike, and I'm not suicidal. Let me go on record, say that right now. I love Hillary Clinton. My best good friend.
And I am not suicidal.
And I am not suicidal.
You don't want the cameras going out in your jail cell?
Yeah, right.
It's like I told that guy when I was in Mexico one time. We were, my family and I, we were on vacation. And my children were small. And the deal is like, I don't know if I've told you the story, but like the beach club, you rent this like cabanas. It's $300 per day per bed. So each day I'm getting 2 of these cabanas. It's like a queen size bed with curtains, and it's got a table, and like you just hang out, you know. And but you get the money that you spend on the bed, you get back in credit for food and drink. So the whole day you're at the club, you've got $600 with credit to eat and drink. I mean, it doesn't matter what you order, it's on that. So it's kind of a give and take. So we're sitting there in these expensive ass beds, right? And these two guys come up, and there's like a rope where the public can't come into the beach club area. They stand right at the rope and light up joints. My kids are 3 feet away. So just trying to be nice, I go over there and I say, hey guys, y'all mind just moving on down the beach just a little bit? My kids are right here, you know? Guy turns around and just basically tells me to go fuck myself. So we have a little chat there, and I explained to him the need for, you know, understanding. And so he decides to leave rather quickly and says that he's going to go find some friends to bring back to continue the conversation. And I told him, make sure you bring more than one. Bring more than one. And that's the way I feel about cops. If you're going to come to my house, bring more than one. You want to come ATF and get my goddamn guns? You want to come fuck with me? Bring more than one.
Right.
Yep. Oh yeah. I mean,
he didn't
might
bring.
As well, might as well make it epic.
Yeah.
Let's
tell
a story
Gina,
about this
man.
shit.
I said, if I go to prison, it's going to be for some fucking. It's going to be for driving a tank through Denver. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's going to be that kind of shit.
I mean, let's make fucking history, baby.
Yeah. No fucking doubt, man. Tomorrow is my wife and I's 20th anniversary.
Congratulations, brother.
Yeah. We had a spell in there for a little bit where we got divorced and got back together, but basically we got married first in 2004. So 20 years tomorrow. Fucking, where does it go? I told her I told her tonight, I said I'd marry you again tomorrow. And she didn't say anything. And I said, this is the part where you come up and say something like, yeah, I'd marry you too. She didn't say anything. So I just said, yeah, I don't blame you.
Had to think long and hard.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Fuck. We know what we are.
Yeah. We give the women in our lives a little bit of a rough ride, huh?
You know, it's funny that I'm fixing to be 50. And it feels like I'm just now starting to mature. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm just now starting to recognize that I'm not bulletproof. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's kind of crazy. I always told my wife that, you know, the things that made me really good, the personality traits and all the things that took to make me really good at that life over there made me horrible at this fucking life back here. You know what I mean? Like that fucking monster that goes to that can't exist. And you know, in this environment, it's just crazy, man.
Not healthily.
Yeah.
Well, I've described it as the difference between becoming the apex survivalist versus learning how to thrive. I mean, when you're in a society, you got to learn how to thrive, and that's a very different animal than being a survivalist.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I dig it.
It is what it is.
It is.
Years. Where'd it go?
It goes fast, man. You know,
It's been a dozen years since I met you.
God, it has, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Whew. Man.
Yeah, because I met you the first time in Kandahar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man. And it really doesn't feel like it was that long ago, but oof.
It doesn't, man. That's why I say there's a disconnect in my brain, man, because it doesn't. I don't see myself as this gray-haired man sitting here. You know what I mean? in my mind, I'm still that guy overseas running and gunning. You know, it's kind of weird. I don't know. Maybe it'll change as I go old, get a little older. And I wonder if that's the way all of them felt. You know what I mean? The old war fighters and the old, hard asses and shit that survived Omaha and Normandy and all the jumps and shit. You know what I mean? And then come home and now you're old. You know what I mean?
No, it's wild because I mean, yeah, it's hard for me to put two and two together that, 2004 was almost 20 years ago when I first went over. That's like, holy shit, 20 years ago?
2 decades.
Like, that's just, that blows my mind. It does not seem that long ago whatsoever.
Yeah, it doesn't, does it?
Nah, that's just, I don't know. Weird. Like you said, there's definitely like a disconnect in the time. Like now all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, what the fuck's all this gray going on here?
Yeah, look at me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck,
Yeah,
dude.
dude.
When we were overseas, I didn't have gray hair.
Dude, September 2004, I was on Negropontes Detail, fucking nothing but brown hair, clean shaven face, and I was a stud muffin.
Yeah.
I'll leave that alone.
You should.
I
You
don't
should
feel
leave
that
that
worthy
alone.
of my talent. That was really too easy. You kind of laid that one up for me, so
Heat it up.
I'm not even going to dig into it. That's all right. We're getting old, man.
We are getting old.
You know, it's funny because I was thinking about this the other day. I was given a 100% disability rating through my DBA and all that shit.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Literally could have stayed on Social Security disability for the rest of my life. Turned down, the doctors and shit said I could get it because of everything, but those fucking handicap tags and shit, all that fucking shit went right back to work. My wife and I were talking about this the other day. I said, this job's ending. I was like, maybe I'll just go get on disability now and just fucking retire. And she's like, you can't. So why not? They gave me a disability rating. She said, yeah, but you went back to work. Like, you fucked that. You'd have to go do it all over again. I'm like, oh, well, fuck all that. But it just amazes me how when I go to Walmart and shit, I see people that can't put their damn cart back like you just talked about, or they're riding that goddamn scooter, or they're parking their lifted fucking truck in the handicap spot. You know what I mean? And I'm like, hey, you do you. You know what I mean? But I didn't take disability because I'm not a fucking shitbag.
Right.
I put my cart back in the goddamn corral because I'm not a fucking shitbag.
Yeah.
I don't park my truck in a handicap spot. You know why? Because I can still fucking walk.
Right.
Some days it's difficult, but I can still fucking walk. And there may be a granny that can't. You know what I mean? And needs that goddamn spot.
Yeah.
I just get so fucking mad every time I see some cocksucker pull up in a handicap spot in a fucking lifted truck and jump out and run in the fucking store. You fucking shitbag.
Yeah.
I need to be the king. Fuck all this presidential shit. I need to be king.
Well, hell, the other day I was at the grocery store and I ended up getting into a fight. One of those handicapped people tried to park in one of our spots. Fucking beat the shit out of that old lady.
You fucking got me. You got me.
Motherfucker, I'm like sitting there like, wait, what? Yep. Got me.
Yeah.
Good job, Bugs.
Hey.
I mean, if you're a fucking dwarf, I get it. They got to run. It'll take them an hour to cover the same ground I cover in 10 minutes. You know what I mean?
Right. Those little legs got a pump.
Kids retarded. I get it, man. You don't want to let them go wandering across a big old parking lot. You know what I mean? They'll be eating chewing gum off the fucking floor. I mean, I can see that there are people that need that kind of shit. I just don't feel like I'm one of them. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean,
Right.
except for a couple of little bit of a fucking gimp leg there, I'm pretty goddamn perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, there. I mean, there.
This is where y'all
There are
jump
plenty.
in and agree with me.
I mean, it's
You're a
obvious.
Oh, never
professional.
mind, Dale. You've never believed in me, except that time you told me to drive, and I fucking told you what was going to happen, and you believed in me,
I believed in you, and you know what, John?
in spite of me telling you it would be a
I
disaster. You still
I
believe.
should have listened to you. I really should have. Yep. You
I
taught
still
me
don't say
something
that
that
was
day.
my fault. I call Phil Guesswine on that one.
I think even Phil was trying to tell me, don't let him drive.
It's a bad idea.
Well, did I tell you that story, Boog?
No.
Oh my God.
We're doing this
John's got
fucking move.
to tell it, dude.
We're doing this fucking move, and it's my day off. I was leaving, like whatever. I was leaving on Friday, or you get Thursday off to pack your shit. But
No,
ask me
you still had like 2 or 3 days.
easy, hot
Easy
rod.
shit. Easy killer.
So it's
Easy
supposed
killer.
to be my day off, and my boss, who was a complete cunt at the time, my team leader, real shitbag guy. But anyway, so Dale comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, I'm short-handed. I need you to drive for me tomorrow. I know it's your day off, but can you just drive?" And I'm like, "Nah, let me just be on the ground. I'm used to being a medic, the PPO. Put somebody else in the seat. I'll just run the ground." He's like, "No, I've already got the mission built. Just drive." I'm like, "Dale, man, I ain't drove a fucking MRAP since we went to MRAP training. I've never driven these motherfuckers. I don't drive. I'm the fucking medic in the TC. No, just drive. Man, this is gonna go bad. No, you can do this. Come on, just drive."
He was driving the follow MRAP. All you had
So
to do was follow.
we're going through Kandahar City, and we're coming back, and I'm driving, and it's gone pretty good thus far. Got some tunes playing. No, I'm kidding. But you know, like so the whole convoy moves over to pass, and I shift over. Now we had vehicles shifting right and vehicles shifting left. Somewhere in there, I get up between these two things, and one of them's coming this way, and it's a tractor, like a big fucking farm tractor, and it's got this trailer behind it. And this fucking trailer looks like it's 30 feet long, and it's loaded with dirt. You remember how they used to ride around like that.
Yeah.
And it's rounded up like they used to do. And it's got fucking gannies all over it. Looks like a goddamn jingle truck. I bet there's 30 fucking gannies sitting on this damn tractor in this fucking trailer full of dirt. So we're going through there. Well, this motherfucker, I guess he panics because I'm cutting the fucking middle of this thing. And Phil's like, "Oh my God." And I'm like, "We got this." Have it. The moral of the story. So this fucking tractor's coming this way, and we're coming this way, the other car. The tractor, he starts to panic because he thinks we're gonna hit him. And we were really close. I still say we would have fit. But anyway, he panics, and when he does and hits the brake, the weight of that trailer pushes into him and jackknifes the tractor. So when the rear wheels of the tractor catch again, he's sitting 90 degrees right at my MRAP, and it, boom, drives right up under my fucking MRAP. Bust the goddamn RPG netting and cage off of it, all this shit. I can't get out. I can't even crack the fucking seal because he's pushed up against the fucking door, and it's under the fucking MRAP, dude. Motherfucking gannies are going everywhere. I mean, it was like a fucking ganny bomb. Anyway, so the whole thing gets all blah, 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 blah. Fucking QRF comes out. One of their fucking sergeants comes over and he's like, "Hey," the interpreter comes over with him. The interpreter says, "Hey, that guy says that you hit him." I said, "He did, huh?" He said, "Yeah." He said, you ran into him." And I was like, so I'm sitting in the road, parallel with the road. He's sitting in the road 90 degrees perpendicular to the road, under my truck, in between the two tires. How do you think I got him under there on my own? You know?
Yeah, no shit.
He's like, yeah, that's a fair
Open
point.
shut cage.
It's like, I mean, yeah, I shouldn't have pushed the hole. I precipitated the entire incident, but I
I
didn't.
literally get,
He hit
I
me.
literally, I'm TCing the whole fucking thing, and I get the call like, Dale, got an accident. I'm like, what? God damn it. I go run back there, and I'm like, how in the fuck did this manage to happen? And he's
He
like, and
says he
John's like,
ran, but Dale's ankles won't allow that.
so I'm looking at John, I'm like, and he's like, I told you not to let me drive. And I'm just like, seriously? You're gonna put this on me?
I spent the
He's
next
like,
fucking 12 years berating him over that.
he's like, I told you. And I'm like, so this is how you make the point. And he's like, really? This is my fault. And I'm just like, I'm shaking my head, and
Turned out okay.
I'm like, this entire day is regret, isn't it?
Yeah.
But he's right.
Me and the Ganny still keep in touch.
After you traded insurance.
Yeah.
But yeah,
trying to get him a student visa. He wants to be a pilot.
I think Gordo just laughed at my ass.
Oh, that's terrible. I shouldn't have said that. I just want to learn to take off. I don't need to learn to land.
Yeah, that's not important.
Shocker.
Oh, fucking hell, dude. Crazy, man. It's fucking crazy.
Oh my God. We're at 51 minutes, boys.
I don't think we got a damn thing accomplished. We never do. No wonder nobody watches this fucking show. We don't talk about shit. We just ramble like a bunch of fucking old curmudgeons. It's like Clint Eastwood and Gran Torino multiplied by 3. All we do is sit here and talk shit about everybody and hang up the phone. Get off my lawn.
We do have a good review. What was that review, Bugs? Can you remember the quote?
Oh,
about the silver fox.
No, that one too.
Well, you did get a good review from my hairstylist. She loves the man with the silver beard.
There you go. Now I need to do is start getting them to send me some money for my underwear. Ask if you want to buy a pair of underwear.
That works?
I don't know. I mean, the chicks do it, and guys pay them a bunch of fucking money.
Yeah, well,
clean or used, I don't care.
We do have a
little bit more money if I got to get them saucy.
We do have a Recondo that sells his underwear to gay men on the internet. So I mean, why not, right?
I don't give a fuck. Gay men want to buy my underwear, I'll sell them to them. I don't give a damn.
We'll start an OnlyFans for you, John.
Yeah. What I don't want to happen is me start selling my underwear and then some chick in Memphis plant them in a goddamn hotel room with some rape or some bullshit.
Yeah, no kidding.
Memphis people. When's the last time you was in Memphis? Shit, I don't think I've ever been to Memphis. Liar.
That I know.
Yeah. Of course, I'm white and it's Tennessee, so I'd probably be all right.
It's a good plot for a movie.
Yeah, right. That does sound like a good plot.
No.
Come to stay at Bugs.
We gotta find that movie review, whatever the fuck it was. That was fucking hilarious.
Was it?
I think it was Heine gave it, and I can't remember what it said, but it was like, oh my God, that's funny.
Bugs like, we got our first fucking review, and I was just like, that's epic, man. We definitely got to clip. We got to clip that shit.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and find it.
Oh, we'll definitely put that up on our page.
I don't remember seeing that.
Yeah, it was pretty
One
good.
day, I know how this goes. I've seen it happen. One day, one of us, most likely me, will say something profoundly clever.
Hold it together, John. Get it out.
Hold on, I'm working on it. And it's going to go viral, and then we're going to get picked up.
I don't think that was that moment.
No,
that was definitely not that moment. That was definitely not that moment.
Hey, I put out a disclaimer when we started this goddamn show. I don't want to hear it.
Oh,
Pretty sure I
Oh.
went to jail.
we'll
Oh,
see.
me. Do what?
I said we'll see if we can get DA to fucking write that treatment up again for a potential plot where we take over the world.
Oh yeah.
The three buffoons from
There we go.
adult supervision,
Oh, yeah.
right?
It was pretty good.
Well, I'm going home in a few days.
Yeah.
This job is over with. I hadn't been home.
Well, you and I can sit together and we'll put up signs that says "Will Merck for food."
Damn, I ain't been home about 6 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, since your vacation.
Yeah, your little girl's graduation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, we'll figure it out. Something will come up.
It always does, doesn't it?
We'll start hitting crack houses or something.
Something.
That was a joke. We'd never do that.
There's always some.
Wait, we got to do it rocket style. We'd never do that.
No, I don't know, man. This one wasn't bad. I've been here since late October.
Not too bad.
Nah, it ain't been bad. Something will come up. One of my buddies called me the other day. Y'all know Chung, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Pro Mag. He hit me up the other day and he was saying that he's got something, blah, blah, blah. And we were talking, but one of the things he was doing was offshore. And he was like, yeah, you'll have to do that survival shit where they put you in a helicopter and all that and dunk you. So I'm like, does that happen in a pool or do I actually have to get in the ocean for this? I like my kids and all, but I'm not sure that that's worth us not starving. You know?
Yeah, right. Ain't happening.
I'm not sure I could do that. I just don't think I want to do the whole being in the ocean thing. 150 miles offshore. Like, I'm just not sure that's for me. I'm really like just sitting here thinking about it, getting super fucking anxious about it. I think I'm gonna pass on this one.
I could do that. Tell Cro-Mag as long as there aren't certain considerations, I'm okay with it.
The way he talked, it was like cats coming off of oil rigs and they're like patting them down or something. I don't know. And you just kind of stand there and watch.
Huh.
I don't know. Something like, I can't remember now. There's something like that, but I don't know. I was just like all interested in it. And then it was like, wait a minute, do I have to get in the ocean? Yeah, probably gonna pass on this one.
You know what I was talking about, John.
I do.
Okay.
No, I 100% do.
Okay.
So I'm thinking about taking my beard and just cutting it off, like way back here.
Like a big old lamb chop?
Just getting rid of all that, but leaving this part.
Oh, like a big old goatee thing.
Yeah, like a big, long, wide. But then I think, nah, I'm gonna keep my beard.
Oh, here we go.
Wouldn't take too long to grow back those sides.
Nah.
All right, hear me out. I have an idea for a movie script. It starts out with a group of hard chargers that spent most of their adolescence in a war zone, eventually all worked for the PMC that everyone loves or hates. They struggle with the real world, and in an attempt to assimilate into the new world, they start a podcast that is largely overlooked because of their extreme buffoonery.
That's our first review.
But they stumble onto a situation that
buffoonery. That's like really good looking, right?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, that's nailed it.
I'm good at words stuff. If we had an editing budget, we could make our teeth go ching.
Right. Yeah, we need to work on that editing budget.
I was
Yeah.
watching. I was scrolling through TikTok the other day, and it was. You remember all the in-flight video from the little birds when when they were refueling the ammo and everything?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's all that cutaway footage playing with some music, and it's like Blackwater, blah blah blah. I don't know who the fuck put it up. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like whatever. I'll let the gatekeepers track it down. But in the comments, it's like, man, this is so cool. Where can I sign up? I can't believe this is real. This is so awesome. But there's all these other motherfuckers that are like, yeah, well, they were just a bunch of mercenaries and they were hired killers and they were baby killers and all this stuff. And this one guy gets on there and he just starts running down all this shit. And I'm laughing at the shit he's saying. You know what I mean? Because it's like they were all a bunch of higher paid baby killers running all over the world, killing women and children and all this kind of shit.
Oh my Lord.
Where the fuck do you come up with this shit? Like, what planet are you on, bro? And so I just went in there under his comment and I just commented and I said, "You're a fucking clown." And that was all I said. You know what I mean? And that was it.
That was the Battle of Najaf before I even got on with Blackwater.
Yeah. I'm just saying that was the, you know what I mean? All the, that was what it was and all. And it was really cool and it sounded to a good, good track of music, but it was just funny how people that never set foot on the compound.
Right. Yeah.
Not only that, but never set foot in a combat zone.
Exactly.
Never fired a shot in anger. Have zero fucking clue what they're talking about. Sending out there spitting out wisdom like they got a fucking PhD in stupidry. And it's just funny because were there some incidents that gave us negative shit? Yeah, obviously. You know, it was very polarizing at one time, but at the same time, man, we did some good.
Oh yeah,
we did some good. I know personally that I've saved people's lives.
Never lost a client.
I got commendations for that shit.
All right.
You know what I mean? Like I know we did some good. Now was the whole war bad? I don't fucking know. Was it a lie? I don't fucking know. I don't care. It's like when I used to come home, people say, "Well, do you think we should be in Iraq?" It's like, who the fuck cares, dude? We're there.
Yeah.
Like the why of it's gone now. We're there. Get your fucking boots on and get in the game.
Every time people ask that kind of shit, I look at them and I'm like, look, if you don't want us to be there, then fucking vote better. Don't ask me. I don't make fucking policy.
That's what I said the other day. I'm like, y'all motherfuckers don't ever show up to vote.
Right.
You sit on Facebook and you sit on Twitter all fucking day long preaching about all the shit going wrong. And then when it's time to vote, how many people show up? 15%? Some fucking crazy, fucking stupid low number. But every motherfucker on Facebook, Twitter's got an opinion about how the government should be run.
Right.
Show the fuck up and vote.
I said, look, the only thing I can do myself is make sure good people go home. And that means even the brown skinned people. Okay. I don't give a shit as long as if it's a bad guy, I'm giving them a lead suppository. That's it.
What's the day rate?
Yeah.
Right. What's the day rate? And are they the bad guy? Good. Then I erase their existence. Otherwise, good people go home the way I last saw them. That's all I give a shit about.
Even if they're not the bad guy, what's the day rate?
Johnny's morals are gray.
I refer to myself as morally ambiguous.
There's that big word again, that $20 scholar.
I have a certain moral flexibility.
I don't understand how you can call yourself ambiguous if you're scared of the ocean.
Say again, bud?
I don't understand how you can call yourself ambiguous if you're scared of the ocean. You should be.
I'm so fucking
like
process that.
Yeah, well, I mean, frogs are ambiguous, and they like.
That's a fair point. Yeah, that's a fair point.
Oh my God! Everybody's gonna think we're retards now.
I told you not to give him that medicine. I told you you were in charge of his medication.
Put down the cough syrup and the Jack Daniels, goddammit.
Okay.
It is what it is.
Well, boys,
yeah.
I think this is a wrap.
Yeah.
Go be gay somewhere else.
Or go eat dinner.